Hello and welcome to Fanshawe College's virtual open house. My name is Pranav Rathi and I work for Fanshawe's international office based here in India, looking after South Asia market. I will be the host for today's session. Before we begin today's session, I would like to review a few housekeeping items. All the attendees in the audience, their webcam and mics would be turned off for the session. If you have any questions throughout the session, please submit it with the questions feature. You'll see a question mark on your screen. You can submit it through that. To open the questions feature, click on that question mark. Following the session, we will have a live Q&A from the questions that were submitted. We will try out our level best to answer those questions within the session time. If you have any questions or queries after the session, we would advise you to email to international@fanshawe.ca or book an appointment, a one-on-one appointment with your recruiter in your region. If you have multiple programs that are open and running on your system, that may compromise with your webinar experience. So we recommend you to take a moment now and close the programs so that you would not face any internet issues. I would now like to introduce the program coordinator for Motive, Power Technician, Automotive and Diesel, Eric McWayne, who will be speaking about the program. Then I will be back again for the live Q&A. And now I'm going to pass it over to Eric.
Well, thank you. And hello and welcome to the Motive Power Technician Automotive and Diesel program, MTA7 and MTD7 open house. This is kind of a new way of us doing an open house. This is something that we're endeavoring to always make a little bit different. And so my name is Eric McElwain, and I've been program coordinator for just over a year. The program codes that are on the screen are MTA7 and MTD7. The MTA is Motive Power Technician Auto, and the MTD is Motive Power Technician Diesel program. The 7 number is the one that is it's generational. So this is the 7th generation portion of this program that we have run and opted for. Currently, our program is not a co-op program, but it will become effective September of 2021. That is our focus for a co-op program, and I quite often get asked that question. My title is program coordinator, so that means I'm an official organizer of this particular program. My email address is on the screen, so you can email me any particular questions that you would like, or you can go to my futures or the international office and email them as well. So if you have any direct questions pertaining specific to the program, please feel free to email me anytime that you like. I typically will email and respond within a span of about 24 hours to be able to answer whatever question I can or find out whatever information I can on your behalf. So please feel free to do that. I always love to hear from people. It's always a really good one. A little bit about our building first, because we are a separate portion of the main campus at Fanshawe. This is the Center for Applied Transportation Technologies, or the CAT building, which was made in, it opened in May of 2011. This is our main entrance door. It received a number of funding purchases throughout. Fanshawe put in an X amount of money. The federal and provincial governments totaled a number of $32 million worth of allocation money to build our program. The reason why we opened a new building was solely because the building that we were in was actually the first official building that Fanshawe had physically opened, and so that meant at the time our building was about 40 some odd years old. It was time for an upgrade, so we did a massive upgrade, brand new building. We've been in it for about 10 years now. It'll be 10 years in May, to be honest, and we have a lot of great features that we were trying to lay our green footprint down instead of it being like a real great big carbon footprint. We didn't want to really add that up. So we added a whole bunch of optional things to our building, which made it much more appealing to an awful lot of younger people, which is typically where we want to focus our attention. We have solar powered skylights, we have a green roof, we have rainwater reclamation, we have low E glass to be able to keep the heat out of the building and keep the warmth and the cool in during the summer and the winter months respectively. We have a number of add-on features, which is like the solar hot water heating and solar heated water-based furnace system that we have within our system. And we reclaim pretty much every ounce of water that we possibly can, and we use that for toilets and bathrooms and those kinds of things after it's been treated and cleaned and all those other sorts of things. So we like to be relatively self-sufficient inside of our building, which is really a phenomenal piece in Fanshaw's cap for sure. Now, what is our program about? Our program encompasses all aspects of the automotive and the truck and coach repair industry. We cover the curriculum material that is supplied by the Ministry of Training in colleges and universities and the Ontario College of Trades. And there's a number of different levels and systems that are in place to make sure that we meet all of that criteria. Portions of our course, which are always sort of the add-on ones, because our curriculum material virtually mirrors the apprenticeship programs, but we have taken and added on a number of different pieces to the puzzle, whereby we can add a marketing program, we can add an ACAD program for drawings, we can add business ownership aspects of it, because a number of our students have gone from graduating from our program, becoming service technicians, becoming service advisors, service managers, and we have a number of graduates from our program that have that are owner operators of their own business, and one particular gentleman actually owns the physical fleet. And this particular program is known as a post-secondary program. So it's not an apprenticeship-based program, although the material that we are delivering mirrors the apprenticeship information set out by the Ministry of Training at colleges. Now, what will I be studying and why? You will be covering the apprenticeship in-school training curriculum for all 3 levels within the Ministry of Training at colleges and universities and Ontario College of Trades. The skill set that you will be learning during the program will be able to be applied to the industry. So based on what happens in the level 1 and level 2, or the first year of the program, if you had a course or a program to go to, a co-op in the summer or in the fall, depending on when you start, you could then apply the learning that you received in that first year of school. You can apply that while you're doing physical work inside of the industry. And that's one of the biggest things that our program academic council is always trying to make sure, that what you're learning in school is what you need to be able to do in the field. And that is the basis on how our post-secondary program is. So if you go into work and you say, okay, I just finished the first year of the motive power technician program at Fanshawe, the employers have an idea as to what they can have you do. So is it pull off a tire, pull off a brake drum, do a visual inspection, change a tire, rotate a tire, do an oil change, those kinds of things. So that information that the industry has is the same information that you're going to be applying while you're physically in school, which really makes things, it makes it easier when you have that kind of a co-op to be able to produce those kinds of things. Now, what have people done from graduating from our program? Because that's always one of the biggest questions. Okay, what do I get when I'm done here, right? Well, first off, a majority of our students, they would probably go off and get a 310 service technician or an auto license and or a 310T license, which is a truck and coach service technician. So of our graduates that continue on in our industry, about 50 or 60% of those students go on to become service technicians. A number of them from writing those particular exams then go on to become shop foremen, where they are in charge of what happens inside of the physical shop. If you're working in a big brand new car dealership sort of scenario, there's always one guy that's in charge out in the service space, whoever that person might be. You can take and you can go and say, okay, well, this guy's doing this, this guy's doing this, this guy's doing that. And that comes from organizational skills that you will get inside of our ACAD program. And some of them can go on and become service advisors, shop advisors, to say, okay, well, this is a customer complaint. This is where I would be going and looking in the first place. That would be one of the nicer jobs. You don't actually get your hands dirty doing that kind of service advising, which is really kind of a nice thing if that's what you're interested in. If you want to organize people, you want to plan, you want to be the brains of the system, that's where you're going to do it. Then there's service managers and or parts managers and or sales managers, those kinds of things. That's where a lot of that service management portion comes in. And we have a number of students that have gone off to do insurance adjusters and insurance adjusting for vehicles that have been in car accidents. Why were they in car accidents? Let's analyze the information and the data that the PCM has, and why is it, how long was the person on the brakes for, measure the skid distance, all those kinds of things. Well, and that all of that information comes from like our applied mathematics and our suspension, steering, and brakes course. All of that kind of comes from all those. And then, of course, then we have the odd person that will go off and own their own physical business. And a number of the teachers that we have at Fanshawe College in our Motive Power program are actually shop owners. We have a lot of them that are contractors. Myself, I like to work during the summer, although I didn't work this past summer. That way we keep our skills up to date. We keep our knowledge up to date, because if you're not actively working in our industry, if you take a look 5 years ago as an example, the fact that we had an all electric car 5 years ago was almost a miracle, right? We look today and we can have a look at General Motors systems, whereby they call it the cruise system, where the vehicle can virtually drive by itself down the road. That was not something that we had for a system that long ago. So our industry is continuously changing, and if you don't physically get your hands on those kinds of technologies, you're going to fall behind as an instructor as well. So that's why we like to make sure we take additional time and we go off and we do our own research on those kinds of subjects in the summer. That's kind of what we like to do. Keeps us active for sure. Now, our course coding. Our course coding, of course, is the MTA 7 and the MTD 7. Those are the current programs that we are offering for the Motive Power Technician program. Okay. Come September of 2021, we're going to have this program that's called MTA or MTD 9. I know that's a double jump, but that's going to be a co-op program. So you will go to school for 8 months, pretty close. And as long as you meet the minimum requirements, whatever those requirements are for a co-op, then you can go off and you can work at a job in the summer, get some hands-on training, some hands-on skills, and then return in in September to continue on for the second year of your program, which would be related to what your selection was, whether it's automotive or was it diesel. One additional thing that we are offering, and we currently are offering it now, which is the current course code is an MTA MTD 6 program, but the MTA and MTD 8 program is going to be known as a double diploma program. So whereby once you are completed your first selection, whatever that might be, is it MTA or is it MTD, you do your co-op, you receive your diploma, and then the following year, the following September, after you've graduated, you can move on and you can go to, if you started in the auto, you just go to the diesel, you go to school for another 8 months, and you can end up having a double diploma. So we have to have a different course code ending, which identifies which way that system goes. So we have an MTA and an MTD 8, which is known as our co-op double diploma program. That's where that one's actually heading. So delivery-wise, the first year of our program, or level 1 and level 2, so it doesn't matter where you start. If you start in January, if you start in May, if you start in September, okay, because we have three scheduled intakes per year. That is your first level. So that would be level 1. And then so your first level is 4 months, and then your second level is going to be another 4 months. So that would be the end of the first year. So it doesn't matter where you start, you have to go 8 months, and that's the end of your first year program, okay? The material that's delivered in that time is both automotive and truck and coach curriculum. So it's a very big combo of both. So you will get what's on the automotive curriculum side as well as the truck and coach curriculum side. And the idea behind that is to give you some kind of exposure as to which one you would like to select. When you pick your program, of course, you will pick automotive or diesel, but during that first year, if you're not fully committed to wanting to go to the auto side, you can select after the first year, you can go into the diesel program, or if you go from the diesel program, you can go into the auto program after that first year. So that is always open and available, okay? Please. So when you go with the double diploma, so once you're done all of the first year programs, then you've done all of the first year programs. So then you can just select what you would like for year 2, which is why you can actually do a double diploma in 3 years instead of a double diploma in 4 years. And the second year of your course specializes on automotive or truck and coach selections or questions. So that's the second year of the curriculum material. That's specific to diesel or specific to auto. There's very little that joins the second year programs together, although there are a couple of courses that are common in the second year of the program. Vehicle dynamics as one has both the auto and the diesel students all in that together. The comms class is identical to that, which is communication for the service technician, and a gen ed course that typically happens in the 3rd or the 4th semester, depending on when you start. But other than that, the core courses are totally separate from each other. Grading requirements. You can receive a passing grade with 50% of your course all the way across. However, to graduate from the physical program, you need a minimum cumulative GPA of 2.0, which equates out to a letter grade of C, which is about 60% across the board. Now, always have lots of questions about that, because we have some programs, we have some courses inside of our program that don't weigh as heavily as other particular courses. So we have one is electrical class, first year electrical class. The theory is 4 hours a week. and the lab is 3 hours a week. So how that works out is a passing grade in electrical in the first year, well, that's worth 4 credits. But the lab portion only counts for 1.5 credits, even though it's 3 hours. So there's one big difference between the two. The second is that some courses only have a 2-hour theory and a 2-hour lab. So each one of those, so the 2-hour theory gets you 2 credits, but the 2-hour lab only gets you 1 credit. So the credit total weighs differently depending on which course that you're physically in at that particular time. So you could score a little bit low on one particular course, but if you score really high on another course, then chances of graduate are probably pretty high. We do have a grade point calculator that we can be able to use to figure out exactly where everybody goes. Now, graduation credentials. At the end of all of this, you will be able to be certified as a viable apprentice by the time you are done. Presuming when you graduate from this program that you want to continue on in the industry, you have the ability to be able to write an exemption course. You are not automatically exempted from going back to school for the apprenticeship. You have to at least write a physical exemption exam to be able to be exempted from level 1 and or level 2 of your stated curriculum. So if you graduated from the NTA7 program, you have technically completed all 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3 of the in-school training. Yes, I totally agree with that. But what's recommended from that is you go to the ministry and you write an exemption exam for level 1 as an example. You want to, so you don't have to go to school for level 1. You write an exemption exam, presuming that you receive a minimum grade point of 70%, you can go and challenge the level 2 curriculum exam. However, if you score below 70%, that means you have to go to school for level 1, and then they will just continue along the way. The same applies to the MTD7 students. You will receive level 1, level 2, level 3 of the in-school training. Once you graduate, you can request that you can write an exemption exam for level 1. If you pass level 1, perfect. 70% or above, absolutely make the step forward to level 2. And then you can ask to challenge level 2 as well. And again, same deal with the auto side. If you receive that, 70% or above, and you can continue right along. But what we always recommend for students at the end is for the last level, or level 3, is that you physically go and attend schooling as a refresher towards the end to be able to carry on, solely because that will be a mind refresher. You've been out of school, chances are by that particular point in time, maybe a couple of years. Memory retention after a couple of years on very specific details is a little bit on the gray side. So always a refresher is not really a bad thing. We always like to sit there and say, oh yeah, I'm just going to refresh my notes every day, or I'm going to have a look at this every day, but then everything kind of gets in the way. So therefore, we like to always suggest that everybody goes for level 3 to be able to continue on. So that's really what it is. Now, a little bit more of the credential end. Since the first year is common across all programs, students may return for 1 additional year or 2 semesters and graduate from the opposite program, which is known as a double diploma program, which is a very big feather in your cap for those of you, especially in our industry. There's a fair influx of service technicians. They are always looking for additional service technicians for sure. But if there's 10 people applying for whatever position, what is going to set you apart from the next service technician that's actually there. So if you graduate with a double diploma, that is that bigger feather in your cap for the next over the next particular person that's sitting there waiting and saying, hey, well, I'm licensed AST, but I don't have truck. Well, guess what? If you have truck, because a lot of places now, they're not limiting themselves to what they're doing, whether or not it's light duty or heavy duty. Everybody's pretty much doing a lot of things doubly across the board, and that's that makes things so much the industry that much tighter. So if you have two guys with identical qualifications, except for the fact that one has a double diploma, chances are they're probably going to select that particular person. So that is an availability that we like to make sure we offer all of our students, because it's a really big hit. The longer we've offered it, the more students per year are actually taking it. So that's really kind of exciting. That way they get to look at both sides of the equation for sure. Now, what's required by you? This is kind of this is the give and take sort of thing. So service equipment wise, you're going to need some form of safety gear for sure. First off, a pair of steel-toed boots that have some kind of a green triangle along the side of them to make sure that they are CSA approved. As long as they have some kind of a green shield on them, that's absolutely perfect. It doesn't matter if it's a shoe or a boot, and it doesn't have to be high and it doesn't have to be low, as long as it's got a green patch on them that has a steel plate in the bottom and a steel toe cap. Absolutely perfect. Number two is a pair of safety glasses that have permanently affixed side shields. Now you can see myself, I actually have a pair of glasses on, and there are safety glasses that you can take and just clip on side shields, but they're not applicable in our class. We actually have to have, in my particular case, I have to have a pair of prescription safety glasses so that I can actually attend lab. And yes, I do actually teach in the program. So I am one of those particular people. They have to have wraparound, they have to be clear, they have to be true safety glass. And if you, there are glasses that you can have, safety glasses, plastic safety glasses that actually fit over those. You can wear them as long as they have permanently affixed side shields and they wrap around the entire portion of your eyeglass. So you can use it. Shop uniform. A shop uniform, we have a shop coat, which is available in the bookstore at Fanshawe. It has the School of Transportation Technology. It is navy blue. It is a button top. It has a couple of pockets in it. People always ask me if they can use a pair of coveralls or like a work uniform or something like that. My answer to that question is no. You have to be wearing a shop coat for a very specific reason. That way, when someone walks into our building, you are going to be able to be identified as a service technician. Our apprentices don't have to wear that, but we step it up for our technician program solely because our technicians are very, very, once our technicians move into the apprenticeship program, I guarantee you they are top rated students. They typically end up getting some form of an award at the end, solely because they're very well prepared and they've seeked out all of the material that they needed to have. And then the AST program is realistically a refresher program for what happens in the technician program. And then we have textbooks and school supplies that are typically listed on our on the college website. They finally offered a digital textbook in our program, which we've been pushing for a number of years. With the digital textbook that started in September of this year, we also have associated online learning packages that go along with it, which are access to reinforcement material that you can do on a computer or on your phone online, which helps in reinforcing some of the material that's being delivered in the classroom and or online, depending on which way it's being delivered, and then they can have additional assignments, reinforcements that you can do. So by the time you're done, you're pretty much all decked out, and you have all of the options, and you have all of the answers by the time you get down into the lab to be able to complete the lab. You have every piece of information required to be able to complete the lab, which is really good. Now, what is required? What is supplied by Fanshawe College? All the hand tools, all the power tools, all the air tools are all supplied by the college. We have them sitting in brand new toolboxes that we received a number of funding issues for over the years, and they so we have pretty much everything that you're ever going to need, including specialty tools. We provide all of the service information like Mitchell Truck, all data process, General Motors service information, Dodge service information. We have Toyota, we have Honda. We're working on a number of different manufacturers to be able to have their additional information, and we are working with some manufacturers to have several different types of vehicles that are supplied to us, and we go out and we purchase our own particular vehicles as well. So we pretty much have them all. We have all the light stuff and all the heavy stuff. We even have farm equipment, and the auto body guys even have a bunch of wrecks that they take and they actually fix. So there's a number of avenues that we have. We have, of course, John Deere training program. We have that at Fanshawe as well, and white farm equipment. We have those as well. So we have an enormous amount of training that's happening in our building at all times, and all of the vehicles that are there are all supplied, and we are to use them for training purposes and training purposes only. That's kind of the way that it is. The program breakdown. In the first year of the program, you're going to have a total of about 16 courses altogether to give you some kind of an idea. There will be 6 core automotive and truck trade specific theory classes. So there's a total of 6. Each one of those is either a 2-hour theory class or a 3-hour theory class. So there's an accumulation of hours. A lab portion, 6 core automotive and truck and coach trade specific hands-on lab classes. So they will either be a 2-hour lab or a 3-hour lab class. And then on top of that, we have 4 additional courses, which include math, marketing, RIT, and skills for success. That's an applied math course. The marketing course is first year basic marketing. RIT is English RIT, I believe, and it's not delivered by Motive Power. That's a completely different entity. Language and Liberal Studies, I believe, is the one that offers that particular course. And then we have Skills for Success. Skills for Success is resume writing, how to do an assignment, how to stay on top of things, organizational skills, all those kinds of things. And those are the 4 additional courses. So now all of a sudden, so we go 12, we go plus those 4, we make it a total of 16 courses in the first year. How they are laid out will depend upon what part and what year and what area of the semester you are starting. So if you start in September, you get math and RIT and skills for success. And if you start in January, you get RIT and marketing. And then in September, you get skills for success and math, right? So that's solely dependent on when that semester physically starts. In year 2 of the program, so semester 3 and semester 4, there's a total of 19 courses. There are 7 core automotive or truck and coach trade specific theory classes. So there you go. They're either a 2-hour theory, there's a 3-hour theory, and it will be either automotive related or it'll be truck and coach related. So now you're into dividing it down the line. So on one side of the equation is the automotive and the other side is the truck, right? So then we have corresponding core courses that go into the lab portion as well, right? So there we have the hands-on lab courses. for each specific one, and that's typically a 2-hour lab or a 3-hour lab that kind of goes along with that. Again, that depends upon the type of course. Like if it's the 2 courses I teach in the second year, one is second year automotive fuel injection systems. So I get the theory and the lab, and then in January, because it's not offered in January, then I go off and I teach alternative fuel sources, which is electric vehicles. We have hybrids. We talk about propane. We talk about natural gas, pure electric drive. We talk about hydrogen power. What are the combustion processes involved in hydrogen powered systems, and those. And so, but that course is only a total of 2 hours theory, 2 hours lab, or the fuels is 3 hours theory, 3 hours lab. So each one's just a little bit different. And then we have 5 additional courses that go on top of that. So we have vehicle dynamics, which both the automotive and the diesel group get. Communications, both the automotive and diesel do get. Gen Ed, which is general education or general elective. We have each portion gets that, and then 2 management courses, which are they split themselves after, I believe, about week 7, but it's management 1 and management principles and management advanced. So that's a divided course, but each automotive and each diesel student has to take each one of those particular courses. So those are the program breakdowns for each particular one. Now, typical class sizes, what are you going to see? Well, for a theory class, we can have anywhere between 60 and about 80 students, and that actually still includes online learning. I'll be very honest with you. I have currently in my second year class, I have a total of 146 second year students in my class. But I have 2 theory sections. So one has about 80 some odd students, and the other one has just about 60, 55, or 60. So we are still kind of keeping them divided in that particular way. And we do that so our internet services don't become inundated with too many. We can't have too many people on at one specific time for sure. So and then our lab classes, we typically take that 60 or 80 students and we wean them down to about 16 or 18. So if I have 60 students in a theory class, I am probably going to have somewhere around, in one theory class, I'm probably going to have about 3 lab classes to those 60 students. That's going to be about the way that it works out. I could thin it down to about 4. So then we're down to much less numbers, like 14 or 15 students, which is actually really great from a instructor's point of view. But it's a little bit harder to manage because then we have to fit in more additional students. Like currently we have, between our first year and our second year classes, we have a total of 13 school sections. So if each one of those 13 school sections had a 3-hour lab, well, that's going to take a total of 39 hours out of the entire week. Not have any time in between, no break, no anything. So it becomes a bit of a logistical nightmare trying to make sure that we can get everybody onto a decent schedule sort of all the way around. So we like to try and keep as many as we possibly can, sort of filling the labs as much as possible, up to about 18. 18 is a really great number for a lab class. Now, the instructors that you're going to be having, and I can speak for myself, but I can speak for the entire department too. Myself, I've been licensed for 35 years of my life at this particular point. That gives you some kind of an idea how old you might actually think that I am. But all of our service instructors in Motive Power are licensed. some of us are licensed for double, and that I am licensed as doubles. But combined, our faculty possess over 420 years of licensed trade experience. So we've all been in the industry, we've all been in different aspects of the industry, and we bring all that together as a program. There's not a lot of programs around that can actually say that they have that much faculty that have provided that kind of licensed trade experience for sure. Motive Power is one of the most heavily weighted in that particular area for sure. That's one of the great things about it. Now, what else do we have? We have lots of different aspects and different student supports that we provide from Fanshawe College. As an example, if you have an IEP from high school, which a lot of people actually do, not that that's a problem, but we do provide as much additional time, extra test time, those kinds of things, because we have universal learning design, or your universal design learning is asking that we don't have rushed exams anymore. So we are taking and we are spacing out additional times and those kinds of things for students. We supply peer tutors if you need one, or professional note takers. We have learning support systems that physically come to the classroom and give you assistance in whatever way, shape, or form that you can if you need them. We have a couple of them that actually meet with the students after and go through notes. They talk to them about a number of different things. I have some second year students that provide tutoring for our first year students. We kind of have that sort of mentoring program where we kind of help out everybody else, because we're all sort of in that team atmosphere together. We have academic counselors and we have personal counselors for supports. Let's face it, we all kind of need one at this particular point in time. We all need somebody that we can talk to, interact with. And then our instructors always on our, we are required to provide about 6 hours of additional time outside of the classroom to our students to be able to provide any form of additional learning. So if anybody has any questions, anybody wants to want something that's reinforced, anybody that wants a little bit of extra time to do something, think about a different concept. If you've missed a test or missed a lab or something else, and you want the ability to be able to make it up, our teachers are always there to be able to make sure that whoever actually can go will go. And so additional 6 hours. So myself, I teach, if I have teach 6 hours so between lab and lecture, that's 6 hours. So I actually have twice as much time to be able to teach that course if somebody else really needs additional help. And all of the guys that I can vouch for in Motive Power are the greatest that way. We'll put in 30 additional hours of class time if that's what it is to be able to make somebody be successful in our program. That's kind of where our focus is. What else do we have? Well, we have a number of different projects that we work on, because school is not all about studying continuously and staying focused and hardwired into learning. We have a lot of different programs that extra activities. We have a welcome barbecue. We have all of those other sorts of things that kind of go forward over the years. These are like the past 3 or 4 year projects. We had a 32 Ford, a 67 Chevrolet Impala, a 58 Corvette, a 2011 Chevy Cruze that we donated to the Fanshawe Student Union, by the way. We have 1988 Mack Midliner that we're building from the ground up, started from scratch. It has a twin turbo with a supercharger on it and all sorts of really neat things. We used to be able to drive it for drag racing, but we can't do that anymore. And then we built a 67 Ford Falcon in for the 50th anniversary of Fanshawe College. That was one of the projects that we have, and we have that right in the front window. We offer our students to go for a ride in some slalom vehicles that we have. We used to have a Southwestern Ontario Slalom Association would take and give students rides inside of a parking lot on a Saturday at main campus. They have done that for a number of years, and they will always continue to do that. Then we're always looking for volunteers for the London Speed and Custom Show. And then we offer a welcome back or a welcome to Fanshawe barbecue, typically the first week of classes in September. We didn't offer it this year for obvious reasons, but our plan and our goal is to have one for next September for sure. We call it a welcome barbecue because a number of students, a majority of our students actually come in September. But even if you have come in January or you come in May, it'll be, by that time, it's going to be a welcome back barbecue. So we always like to make sure that we have whatever it is to be able to make sure that we have our students feel welcome whenever they make it into Fanshawe College and Motive Power. Our program locations, except for one course, everything that we offer happens at the CAT building or Z building, which is what we are effectively known as. So if you have any questions or you have any anything that you'd like to know, please feel free to email me, contact me whatever way that you feel best. And if you have any questions, please ask away.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eric, for providing such great information on your program. So if you want to ask any questions, students, please submit it with the questions feature. We'll be taking up questions now. Eric, before we go to students' questions, I have a couple of questions of my own.
Okay.
I just know that if the student would be able to complete both diesel and auto programs in shortened version, or do they have to complete both programs over 4 years?
No, they can complete a double diploma in 3 years as opposed to 4 years, only because the first year program is all common, so they don't have to repeat those particular 16 courses. They're available just to carry on in the second year. And then there's a number of courses in the second year that they don't have to take, because in the first portion they would have taken vehicle dynamics, but vehicle dynamics is only offered as a singular. It's not automotive or it's not diesel related, so they don't have to take that in the second year. So it's a reduced load as well.
Right. So in span of 3 years, they can be graduated with 2 post-secondary diplomas then.
Absolutely.
Right, 2 programs. Great. Another question is that will the student be exempt from apprenticeship classes if they complete the diploma and write their certificate of qualification exam right away?
They can write an exemption exam between level 1 and level 2 of the apprenticeship program, and if they're successful, then they can be exempt from that. Yes, but they have to meet their minimum criteria. So they will have to write a ministry exam and get 70% or above, and then if they do that, then they will be exempt from that particular level.
Okay, thank you. We have a question here from a student. Would there be a semester break during the program?
Yes, there's always some form of a semester break, an official one that is typically about 4 months. There will be either 1 or 2 of them, depending on what semester you start. Like if you start in May, your first official break will not come until a year after. So that will be April, the following April.
Right.
They will be off until September.
Right. After completion of MTA program, in which sector student can build their career? In what type of industry?
Uh, repair, automotive repair. You could be
Mhm.
an insurance adjuster, shop foreman, service manager, or you can go into parts management systems as well.
Wow, a lot of options after completion of the program.
Absolutely, yes.
So these are the positions I'm guessing the previous students have held after completion of the program.
Yes, that is correct. We've had students go pretty much everywhere. I work with a couple of guys that have graduated from our program and actually own their own shop, and
Right.
and pretty much any car dealer or repair shop that I go into in the city of London, which has got about 400,000 people, by the way, there is always one student that I know in there for sure that I've had over the years, and they're doing numerous different things.
Right, right. There were some qualifications that you mentioned the students may be applying for uh, upon completion of the program. Are these Ontario or province-based qualifications, or they can be used in different provinces as well if a student plans to move?
Okay, now that's always a great question because a number of years ago, if you received a red seal approval, which means that you became licensed, that you could be licensed anywhere in Canada at the time.
Right.
Those regulations have changed a little bit,
Mhm.
but once you are licensed in Ontario, then all you will have to do is write an exemption exam in, like, if a lot of my students move from Ontario, they move to Alberta. That's pretty popular. So
Mhm.
they take, and all they have to do is meet with the ministry, and
Mhm.
you can discuss it, and then write an exemption exam, and then you're effectively licensed for that province.
Right. We've got a follow-up questions related to the career. Can student make their career in automotive manufacturing industry?
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of students go from graduating in our program to working at CAMI, which is about 20 minutes, half hour outside of London.
Right.
Woodstock, which is 30 minutes outside. And a number of them actually go on to be engineers or designers that are in the assembly plant portion.
Right. Thank you, Eric. One more question here, Eric. What is the length of a typical class day?
Classes are typically in the range of about 7 to 8 hours worth of class time per day.
Right.
Some days you might have 10 or 11 hours, and other days you might only have 2 or 3. But if you take and you average it out, it's going to be somewhere between 7 and 8 hours per day of class time.
So around 40 hours a week, 35 to 40
Fairly
hours a
close.
week.
Yes, very
Right.
close.
Great. Thank you. Because I'm sure there would be multiple students, international students would be wondering if they can work part-time
Work
along with
outside.
the education.
Absolutely. Yes.
But again, we would want to suggest that your full-time job is as a student, so you should definitely concentrate on that first
Very, very
before,
true.
yeah, looking for jobs outside. Um, we've got another question here from a student. Is it possible to get a credit transfer for some program which you have already studied it in another college? And what is the procedure for a credit transfer?
Credit transfers are done by the registrar's office in the first place. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you have what everyone needs is what is known as a course information sheet, which lays out the material that was delivered in the class, um,
Mhm.
what a weekly schedule was. Okay, so week 1 was this, week 2 was this, all the way down to the bottom of the semester, and then they have to have that information, and then they take that, they send that to the registrar's office, and the registrar's office then sends it to me. on an official document. And then we have to decide the material that you received has to be applicable 70% to what our course is being offered as. So are there courses that people become exempt from? Yes, that is indeed true. But it's kind of it's a course by course sort of thing. It's not that everybody's going to, if you took, let me see, if you took engine management system in Tennessee as an example, that course may not be the same course that our engine management class or fuel injection class is in Ontario. So we have to be able to, so here's my course, here's this course. I have to mash the two of them together and then say, okay, so is that 70% of the material? And then if so, then we can exempt them from one class. That's true.
Right, thank you. Would there be any more questions, students? Do you have any more questions for Eric? I think this is it. So we've now reached the end of our session. Thank you to all the attendees who have submitted the questions today. We hope that we were able to answer all your questions in regard to motive, power technician, automotive, and diesel. If you have any more questions, we request you to please write an email to international@fanshawe.ca, or you can book a one-on-one appointment with your recruiter in your country and your region. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the open house. Thank you so much, Eric, for helping us out today. And it was great working with you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your day. Everyone have fun.
Thank you.